hottest topics, the latest rumors, in-depth discussions, and the biggest headlines. Your weekly WWE fix all in one place. Find us on YouTube, iTunes, Automatic, and SoundCloud. This is the Main Event Podcast with your hosts, Imran, Arif, and Raza. It's time for the Main Event.
Another hopeful was eliminated on Tough Enough this week as we count down the weeks remaining until the fight, and only two stand tall. The Cesaro Section continues to run wild on Monday Night Raw, and we discuss that and a lot more this week on episode 40 of the Main Event Podcast. Hope everybody's doing great. I'm your host Raza, and joining me as usual is none other than Arif. How you doing?
Oh, really forceful with the intro. I like it, Raza. A bit of passion, a bit of fire. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you're well. And of course, Imran is with us as well. How are you doing?
I'm very well indeed. We had a good wrestling week. Lucha Underground wrapped up its first season.
We started this already. If you missed it, we did record an episode last week that you can go back and listen to and download. Episode 30 now. We discussed a number of topics last week. Daniel Bryan being a B-plus player, the champion versus champion match at SummerSlam. Please do go back and listen to them topics if you are interested. You can tune in on a variety of platforms and outlets. It's completely up to you where you decide to listen to us. You can choose from Podomatic, Mixcloud, and TuneIn Radio. You can subscribe and never miss an episode on iTunes as well as SoundCloud. And you can also subscribe and listen to us every single week on our YouTube channel. Search for the Main Event Podcast on all of those platforms and you will find us.
We're also on WWE.com.
Hidden somewhere.
Yep, somewhere.
Somewhere there. You'll find us. Just keep looking. Finally,
Make sure you do.
Finally, please keep in touch with all the happenings here at the Main Event Podcast. Everything from emailing us at tmepodcast@gmail.com. Arif is still waiting. I can't emphasize this enough.
I think I've forgotten my password.
Is that why you're not telling us we've got emails?
We have several, but I just can't seem to access them.
Keep trying, Arif.
I will keep trying.
You can follow us on Twitter at TMEPodcast. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel again, the Main Event Podcast, and please go over to our Facebook page. The Main Event Podcast WWE, and I promise you, password is not a password. The Main Event Podcast WWE on Facebook, that's where we are posting regularly, breaking news, headlines, rumours, feature pieces, articles, things like that. And thank you to the huge amount of likes and fans that we are getting on that page. It means a lot. We hope you continue to stick around and you enjoy what we have to offer.
Password 1.
You're getting warmer. He's a clever one, this Arif. Right, let's get on with today's show. As usual, handful of topics today. Hopefully some good in-depth discussions. That's what we promise here at the Main Event. Are we ready to go? No more.
Promise is a strong word, Raza.
We hope. I'll just say we hope.
we definitely hope.
Yeah. Are you guys ready?
Always.
Yep, ready. You've said quite a lot of urgency to your voice as well. A lot of passion. Let's get on with the show.
Thank you, Imran. Let's get on with the show today, guys. Starting with Tough Enough. Again, another episode and another elimination this week on Tough Enough. Just some highlights. The NXT superstars were in attendance during the challenges, which Josh won.
I didn't recognize any of the NXT superstars, by the way, apart from Bayley and Bayley.
You're telling me you did not recognize the great Bull Dempsey on the back row?
I did not I was looking for Samoa Joe. I did not see him.
I don't think
He's been there for weeks. Bull Dempsey.
I don't think any of the big guys have been there.
Imran, that's Bull.
Well, yeah, the NXT superstars and divas were in attendance during the challenges, which Josh won. And the bottom three consisted of Tanner, Sarah Lee, and GiGi. And right off the bat, I have to ask you, GiGi going home, you surprised? Arif? Imran, okay, sorry, Imran.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just going to really quickly say, Imran, were you surprised at the final three as well? So the bottom three being Tanner, Sarah Lee, and GiGi. Were you surprised at that as well?
Not at all. Tanner.
Oh, well,
Not surprised about Tanner. Not surprised about Sarah Lee. Surprised about GiGi, though. And that elimination surprised me. The whole episode yesterday, I think it highlighted that GiGi was the bottom three last week, and she had the least votes and only survived because of Paige's save. And once she was in the bottom three again this week, there was that feeling that it's GiGi's time's up, especially with the way the past couple of weeks have been going. The huge Patrick going,
Mada,
exactly. Now GiGi's gone.
Who went last week? Chelsea as well. Yeah,
Chelsea, exactly. Chelsea.
Completely agree with everything you're saying. I think it is a bit of a shame because she was the strongest female in the competition. So she'd won 6 challenges on the trot. and she'd been going from strength to strength. She looked really good in the ring in her match with Tanner as well. And the reason that she was put into the bottom three was a bit of a cop-out, in my opinion, from Daniel Bryan. He just to recap again, he placed her in the bottom three for not being able to define who she was before the match, being either a face or heel, and it ended up having to be Jericho who told the NXT superstars that she was supposed to be the face in the match. Yeah. And I think that's something that she hadn't learned maybe beforehand. She hadn't learned that she was supposed to be the face, or she hadn't learned that how to maybe present herself as a face. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a cop-out, but out of the bottom three, I think she was probably the most likely to go, and she did.
I think there's two things I do want to say. One, obviously I was going to ask, what did you make of the reasons for all three of them being in the bottom three? You've mentioned GiGi's, and that wasn't strong enough. What about the reasoning for Sarah Lee and Tanner? Tanner, especially for you, Arif, considering you're a big fan.
Well, look, this is the thing, because especially at the moment, and to be fair, throughout the entire competition, the judges have always been focusing on one small thing, which is like, it's literally putting these people under a microscope and finding the one one flaw of their character that ends up leading to them being into the bottom three. And with Tanner, it was because he didn't show enough emotion facially through his match. But I thought he showed a lot of emotion, and so did Paige.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, they are trying to find kind of the smallest dirt in the character. It's not even a dirt. It's just kind of like that 40 minute video that presents the whole week just shows. I don't find it as the greatest format. I'm not a fan of the format. I think we've been saying it for many weeks, and it just highlights just the flaw.
The entire show seems like a bit of a flaw. I couldn't agree with you more.
GiGi was in the bottom three last week. She was saved. The voting percentage.
Yeah, but why was she in the bottom three last week? Do you remember?
Oh, who put her in the bottom three? I think
it wasn't the Miz. Miz saved her. No, sorry.
No, Paige saved her.
Paige saved her. Miz may have put her in the bottom three.
Miz or Bryan, one of the two.
Yeah, it was definitely one of them.
Miz put her in the bottom because just before we're about to judge,
switched, didn't he? He
switched
from Amanda to GiGi.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But I was going to say, she was in the bottom three last week. Voting percentage did surprise us because if she was saved, she would have gone. Were you surprised this week to see she received fewer votes than Tanner?
No, I don't think so. I think Tanner definitely connects a lot more, and his character's been developed a lot more. He's been portrayed as more of a Daniel Bryan than a... I don't want to say the word on the podcast because we're supposed to be a PG show, but the BITC, and then there's another letter, Triple H. That's how she's been presented. She's always in the corner scheming with Amanda, her side chick. And it just, she's been presented as this negative energy, whereas Tanner is being played as this like lovable idiot in a sense, where he doesn't have game with women, he doesn't have the personality, but he can back it up in the ring. Which GiGi seems to be able to do anyway. So
yeah. Same question to you, Imran. Were you surprised that she got fewer votes than Tanner this week?
I would be lying if I said no. Yes.
Oh, well, of course.
I don't like Tanner. However, there were a few points.
I don't like ZZ, but ZZ is still there.
There were a few things, if I could continue, that Arif said that I agreed on. Reluctantly, like he has been portrayed as this lovable
idiot,
Daniel Bryan idiot. Exactly. And GiGi is this scheming, conniving,
Triple H.
Triple H. Triple H. But now it's going to be interesting to see Amanda now, especially with the final five. How things turn out. It is going to make for an interesting watch. I know we are going to turn up and watch Tough Enough, no matter how bad it is. But yeah, the end is near, my friend.
So, Reza, I think it's probably fitting now for you to, as the almighty judge on the podcast and the host of the podcast, maybe you should judge on who you think out of the two divas that are left deserves their place in the WWE. More.
I think when you put it that way, who deserves it has to be Amanda. I'd be surprised. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised because Sarah Lee is somehow survived off the skin of her teeth every single time she's been in the bottom three.
So,
But-
and then now she's in the final. So what about if you were to add GiGi to that singles match there? If you were to make that a triple threat, who deserves to win it more?
That's the thing. I'd say GiGi deserves to win it, but who I think would win, I still think GiGi wouldn't win that because of how. Well, I mean, she's not popular, is she? I thought she would be.
Welcome to pro wrestling, fans.
Here's the thing, guys. Remember the week Amanda got saved? She got saved whilst she had 17% votes. That was one of the fewest of the whole season. Now she's going up against the only woman left competing against her, Sarah Lee. Don't you think this is given? Sarah Lee's gonna win.
Agreed.
I think we're all just preparing for it. I think we might as well write our notes down for the future podcast. Sarah Lee is crowned the winner of Tough Enough.
Lol, Sarah Lee wins.
But just a final point on GiGi before we move on to other things on Tough Enough. Will GiGi receive a developmental contract?
Yes.
Yeah, she deserves it.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually. One thing I want to talk about was Daniel Bryan. He has one save left. I think it's fair to say he won't want to be left out, so he will use it eventually. Who can you see him using it on in the coming weeks, whether it be next week or the week after?
So next week, it has to be the three guys in the bottom three.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think the format would be pretty terrible if they just crowned a female winner and then left. So yeah.
I think he's gonna place his save on Tanner. He's not going to be saving Zizi. He's not going to be saving. Well,
Josh
it
won't
doesn't
be the
make
bottom three, I
sense.
think.
Josh will go home then.
What?
So
no.
next week it won't be the bottom three, in my opinion. I think it will just be because they can't get rid of one of the girls. Next week,
Exactly.
'cause they have to go in the final. So it will be Josh, Tanner, and Zizi as the last three guys.
He won't use on ZZ.
You won't.
He won't use it on ZZ.
No.
If he uses it, and then whoever he doesn't use it on the other two, the other person's going home. So he's going to have to use it on Josh if the WWE want someone like Josh to win it.
So you think Bryan will do it on Josh? If it was completely up to him.
Or
he'd
maybe
save
he just
Josh.
won't use it. Maybe he's gonna be spineless and just not use
Is
it
he?
at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. Imran, what do you think? If he was to use it, who would he use it on? The save from the bottom three.
The save. He's either going to use it on Josh or Tanner, and I think he is going to use it on Tanner. He's going to save Tanner because, like Arif said, he is another Daniel Bryan.
He sees himself.
I think you see. To me, it felt like you were saying that with so much anger, Imran.
Yes,
He's gonna
I'm
save
gritting my
Tanner.
teeth right now. Yeah,
In that hot tub scene, Daniel Bryan just saw himself.
and that's how I got Brie.
That's
If-
exactly how he got Brie.
If you were to vote, obviously we
Brie
don't.
mode! Sorry.
If we were to vote, which I don't think we do because of the time, and you were going to cast your vote, if it came down to Josh and Tanner in the final, I think I know the answer, but I have to ask it. Who would you be voting for to keep on the show? Well, to win, and why, Imran?
Such a tough one.
Josh, because it's against Tanner.
Simple.
That's a terrible reason. I think that's a terrible reason. I think what you need to look at with something like that is who brings more to the table for the WWE, and I would agree at this moment that Josh is pretty much the full package in the sense of what they're looking for. I would like Tanner to be in the WWE, but I don't think he needs to win the Tough Enough contract to do that.
Yeah, as in all jokes aside, Tanner, yeah, he's great. He's an athlete.
Rosa, you're recording this, right?
Of course, I've sorted out all technical difficulties.
Oh no, I just meant to make sure that we can play this back to Imran.
Like, I still hate Tanner because he's generic. That's what he is. He's just very generic. However, Josh stands out. Josh, he's got the Kevin Nash look. He's got the monster look. He's tall. He's well built, and he has the passion to succeed. For me, he's head and shoulders above everybody right now. So Josh is going to win. Josh, my man.
So if I had to ask you who's going home next week, based on the trend we've been seeing, who's staying, who's going, who would you say is going home next week? Josh going home.
Tanner's going home.
Okay.
Just based on the trend that we've seen, because ZZ bottom three for how many weeks? 4 weeks, and he's been saved. So, sorry, Tanner, Irishman, not looking good.
ZZ's definitely not going home, so it comes down to Josh or Tanner, and I'm just basing it on Daniel Bryan using his save on Tanner, so
Yeah.
Josh goes home.
I can see that. So have our minds changed on the winners of Tough Enough, or are we sticking again this week? I think we've had the same winners for many weeks now, ZZ and Sarah Lee, or are we changing?
Josh and Sarah Lee.
Imran says Josh.
ZZ and Sarah Lee is a logical choice, but I don't want it to be, don't get me wrong.
I understand.
This segment always depresses me. Why do we always have to start off with Tough Enough?
I know, why Tanner?
Why can't we just talk about something fun like Lucha Underground?
Yes.
Imran, tell me about Lucha Underground.
It was amazing.
Oh my god.
Watch it.
Look at how excited we are already.
This is like the most enthusiasm I've ever felt from you two
Oh
guys.
my gosh, I can't breathe.
I feel like I don't belong here.
Lucha. No, wait, that's not what they do.
But yeah, let us know, guys, what you think on Tough Enough. This week's episode, was GiGi the right person to go home? Who you think will be eliminated next week? Who you think will win? And who you think has what it takes to be a successful WWE superstar? Please get in touch. Moving on, guys. There were reports earlier this week that the Seth Rollins versus John Cena match at SummerSlam was hanging in the balance, obviously because of the broken nose. The backup plan was revealed this week. Any of you guys know what it was? No?
The main event of Raw, basically.
Pretty much. Randy Orton, Sheamus, Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But, we've been saved from that, guys. You'll be happy to know. The match with Cena has officially been confirmed. He's been cleared to compete. Both titles will be on later on this month, on the line. So I just wanted to go through what else SummerSlam has to offer, if that's okay.
Yes, perfect.
I mean, let's be honest, even if it wasn't okay, I probably still would have read it out. We have Ryback. He returned, defending his Intercontinental Championship against The Miz and The Big Show in a triple threat match. We also have the 3-team elimination tag team match. Team Bella, consisting of Nikki, Brie, and Alicia Fox, taking on Team Bad, taking on Team PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. Very creative.
In a straight-up tag team match.
As expected, a fatal 4-way tag team championship match. The Primetime Players defend their WWE tag team championships against Los Matadores, the Lucha Dragons, and the New Day.
In a straight-up tag team match.
We've got another tag team match, is Stardust teaming up with Bad News Barrett as they take on Neville and Stephen Amell, who plays Oliver Queen on Arrow.
Straight-up tag team match.
Then we have...
Straight-up tag team match.
We have...
Straight-up tag team match.
We have Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose taking on Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper.
We do, yes.
Really?
In a straight-up tag team match.
Seth Rollins takes on John Cena, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the United States Championship.
Reza, who does Seth Rollins face?
John Cena.
The WWE United States Champion. And his name is John Cena!
And we have the main event, I'm presuming, Brock Lesnar
going one-on-one with The Undertaker, player.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
This is the,
feel like watching SmackDown already.
This is the Teddy Long SummerSlam Invitational Tag Team pay-per-view.
It is like a night dedicated to Theodore Long, isn't it?
It is. He's the creative decision behind the whole card. He's booking the show.
Imagine if it was John Laurinaitis. People power!
I think I want to start off with, something safe, a safer topic.
Is it one of the straight-up tag team matches?
It's not one of the straight-up tag team matches.
What?
Not yet, anyway. I think it is safe to say 3 more matches will be announced. It's a 4-hour show. It is already a stacked card, but I'm guessing 3 more will be announced. Randy Orton versus...
There's already 7 matches on the card so far.
Well, I don't know. So I wanted to ask you guys. Randy Orton versus Sheamus. Can we see that happening? Oh, they're too big to be left off the card, surely.
It's happened for the last 12 months, it feels like, so why not?
Didn't someone put a count together of how many matches they had, and Randy Orton was up by about 60 matches, so Sheamus has got a long way to come back.
Rusev and Dolph Ziggler, I want to ask, do you think they'll go one-on-one, or will Summer Rae and Lana be involved, or will we not see anything?
It'll be Summer Rae versus Lana in a hot summer, in a
Summer Lana match.
In a bikini contest, in a bikini contest.
Is that like what you think's gonna happen or what you want to happen?
I'd heard Dolph Ziggler isn't gonna be back until after SummerSlam anyway, because he's filming that movie where he broke his larynx.
Okay. And of course Cesaro versus Kevin Owens as well.
That'll happen. That'll be a big match, and that'll definitely be on the card. I think that's too big to not be on the card.
That is a match to watch as well.
I think Sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, looking at Seth Rollins versus Cena, I can see that going a long distance. I mean, ROH recently had a 1 hour match with a time limit of an hour. That's what a 1 hour match is. Sorry.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, just in case you guys didn't know, and that ended with a draw. And I can kind of see the same thing happening here with Rollins and Cena. But I guess we can go into that in a short while.
One match I wanted to discuss was not really a match. It's what could follow. It was
the Buzzards.
It was one of the tag team matches, as I said. The family versus family match that was hyped as Ambrose and Reigns versus Wyatt and Harper. I've been reading online, people have picked this up, that a lot of emphasis is being put on Ambrose being Reigns' best friend or his brother and things like that. And I remember there was one stage where Dirt Sheets was saying there's going to be a new Wyatt family member, we're not going to like him. If there is a new Wyatt family member, do you think Dean Ambrose could be that guy?
I don't think Dean Ambrose will be that guy.
Okay.
The reason being, I think what WWE is trying to do is have that slow build of Reigns that he should have had the previous year, and they're using Dean Ambrose popularity or Dean Ambrose skills to show Roman Reigns the ropes. Like, Roman Reigns promos have become a lot better. He's become a lot more open on the mic since he's been paired up with Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
And it's a good trend. I like this trend right now. So, I don't see Dean Ambrose switching sides anytime soon.
I think there are two maybe trains of thought on this. One is if Dean Ambrose does turn heel and he does face Roman Reigns, then Dean Ambrose is probably going to be cheered out the building, whereas Roman Reigns will get booed again, and WWE are back to square one. The other is if you keep them together, like Imran said, you're building Roman Reigns up, but you're building Roman Reigns up at the cost of Dean Ambrose. And I don't doubt that Dean Ambrose will be a major star. I see him as the next Stone Cold, but for some reason WWE are hesitant on giving him that real main event push to put him in the last match of every pay-per-view and have him be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I just think that I don't want Dean Ambrose to suffer because WWE are hell-bent on pushing Roman Reigns to the moon. And I think that's exactly what the WWE audience are feeling at the moment as well. And that's why, I guess, making him heel and pairing him with Wyatt, although that ends up having Reigns take out Ambrose, which is obviously the way they're going to go with it, it does give Ambrose something different for a while before maybe his push after WrestleMania next year. And that's really sad to say.
No, let's not forget something. Dean Ambrose, no matter what, he might be playing a small part on Raw, but he's hot. Every time he comes out, the crowd go wild. He's Do
you know who else the crowd goes wild for?
No.
Damian Sandow, and look where he is. Zack Ryder, and look where he is.
No.
I completely agree with you, Imran. I think they should push Dean Ambrose, but they don't. Not as much as they should.
I mean, I wanted to ask you, basically, do you think that's a good idea? If not, or if it is, why is that a good idea?
Wyatt, is that a good idea? No, it's not a good idea. I don't think they should.
Okay. Can you see it happening?
I don't think they should.
Can you see that happening, though?
Yeah. Look what WWE does to us. Yeah, I think that it will happen.
Well,
it's really sad, but I think it will.
You could argue that it would be the best way to reform the Shield. I mean, if they all genuinely go down their separate paths, like Rollins has gone, done his own thing, Reigns and Ambrose are still together-ish. Do you think Ambrose needs to separate from Reigns so that when they do reform, it has, bigger impact than it will do if it does happen, say, next week?
Well, we've had Dean Ambrose be the star of their group, like Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, when Ambrose was facing Seth Rollins, and now we have Ambrose backing Reigns up. So having them split for the future, this is such a difficult question. Imran, you go. I can't answer this. This is so difficult.
I don't see the need for Shield to reform right now. I don't think it makes sense. As I said, Dean Ambrose hot right now, Roman Reigns hot, Seth Rollins major hot. I mean, popularity-wise.
They could have a triple threat and be the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, but they don't need to. I don't see where all the talk about reforming is coming from. They've got no adversary big enough where the three of them have to join together to face. Later on down the line, yes, but right now they have a more of a singles career, and Roman Reigns right now is their priority to set up that singles career.
I know we're moving away from the actual question itself, Rosa, and feel free to chime in once we mentioned this part. But the Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper feud, just to add to what Imran was saying, having the Shield versus anyone on the roster right now would be a massive mistake.
Yeah.
But having Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper is just shades of the Shield versus the Wyatt family feud.
I agree.
And so anything from here after this, if Dean Ambrose breaks away from Roman Reigns, or if they stay like friends and like friends with benefits sort of thing, then we were all thinking it, especially you with hot Seth Rollins. I just think that whichever way they go, it's ultimately going to go one way, which is Roman Reigns in the main event at WrestleMania, and Dean Ambrose, unfortunately, in a mid-card feud at WrestleMania.
Couldn't you say that this would be good for Ambrose's career, though, if he was to join the Wyatt family? I mean, he could use Wyatt to elevate himself, whereas Wyatt could use Ambrose to elevate himself.
No, I don't think either one of them needs each other. I mean, if Bray Wyatt wants to have great promos, then he does what he does. Mm-hmm. He has great promos. If he wants to look dominant, he does what he does. He has somebody attack his opponent from behind, Luke Harper. Dean Ambrose, he talks well. Gets the crowd wild, has good matches. Yeah, he's a bit part player right now on the roster. But hey, it's WWE. I don't think Bray needs Dean or Dean needs Bray.
You put Bray Wyatt with Dean Ambrose, and then only one of them could talk at once on the mic, and they're both gold on the mic. I would rather, for that reason, see Roman Reigns with Bray Wyatt, just because Reigns still has to develop as a character on the microphone, and Bray Wyatt is amazing on the microphone. I would rather see that. That doesn't mean that I want to see that. It just means I would rather see Reigns with Wyatt than Ambrose with Wyatt. I completely agree. You can't put two people who are amazing on the mic and pretty good in the ring as well in the same team, because only one of them could talk at once.
Which one do you think is more likely to happen / the ones fans would rather see?
I think the fans would rather see Dean Ambrose as the face. Yeah. So, I mean, look at Dean Ambrose. He's such a big merch seller as well.
Yeah.
So they've got like 18 T-shirts.
At the same time, he is a ridiculously good heel. I do think the indie fans especially would enjoy Ambrose teaming with Wyatt.
Cheered. Reza, he'd get cheered as a heel. And that's not a heel.
He would. I know where you're coming from, but I mean, seeing the cult leader Wyatt team up with, like a serial killer type of twisted human like Moxley.
Whoa, PG.
No, I think. Sorry, Reza, to stop you there, but I think the reason why Dean Ambrose works so well, even though he's given so little time on Raw, is because he relates so much to the audience. I mean, he's there as a real wrestler for the wrestling fans, but he also looks the part as well for the casual fans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, he's in that Stone Cold mold.
Yeah, exactly. He's not your goody good shoes. He's not your bad. He plays a very fine line, very very well. He's not the anti-hero, but
he's very close to it.
He's very close to it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is perfect, because you don't want an anti-hero. We don't want a CM Punk character. We want a Stone Cold character. And I keep going back to it, but the comparisons are there, and they're plain to see. All Dean Ambrose needs to do is change his finishes to the Stunner, and he will be Stone Cold 2.0.
Another reason why Stone Cold is better than The Rock, but
we'll get to that. Just want to finish off on these guys before we move on to another match. Is what do you think is next for Reigns and Ambrose and Wyatt? I'm just going to leave Harper at the side because he'll do whatever Bray Wyatt does. But what is next for these guys? Will they continue their feud, or what path will they go down after SummerSlam?
I think with Dean, he's going to be, the phrase, if I use it again, bit part player. Is going to be, he's going to be left in obscurity for a bit until he's needed, until he needs to fill in a certain spots, like, to fill in a spot on, say, the WWE Championship contendership match, or being a friend to somebody like Roman Reigns, or just popping up on SmackDown. He's just going to be neither here, neither there sort of thing. And I think Bray Wyatt is going to be moving on to other superstars, another feud.
That's generally what happens in the WWE.
Yep, another feud. No, straight after this, I think. But Roman Reigns, I think he is going to have something big in store for him. I think they might use Sting as kind of a star attraction to draw in the fans, to kind of move the fans away from him to Roman Reigns and kind of like influencers like that, like the influencing machine is. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that they can do from here, can't they?
Arif, what do you think could happen?
Should we go through each one individually? So let's go through Bray Wyatt first. I think Bray Wyatt versus Sting would be a nice little match to have Survivor Series. I think that would be a fitting way to bring Sting back in a year after he debuted, have him against the big evil of the WWE, and ultimately take out Bray Wyatt and get his win that he needs. Then Bray Wyatt doesn't lose anything by losing that match. Dean Ambrose, he's not... This is going to be a controversial comment, but he's not big enough yet to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion, but he's not small enough to be, and I don't mean this size-wise, but I mean he's not a small enough attraction to be the Intercontinental Champion or the US Champion. That's how I feel right now, and I know John Cena's elevated that US title to heights that we've never seen before, but if anyone else gets it, it's going to drop straight back down. So I don't think WWE knows what to do with him. I don't think I know what to do with him. I couldn't tell you where Dean Ambrose fits on the card at the moment, and that's a real shame because he deserves to be in the main event. And Roman Reigns is a special one. I don't think they'll use Sting with Roman Reigns, as Imran said. I think they'll push Roman Reigns now into a feud with maybe Masked Kane. Someone like that. Someone who can afford to lose, someone who Reigns can look strong against, like beating up, just as he did when he faced Big Show after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What about this, guys? Roman Reigns against Sheamus. That's when he wins the Money in the Bank. To be fair, I think I mentioned that last week or the week before.
Yeah.
I think that would be perfect for Reigns. I genuinely think that. Thank you for bringing that back up, Imran. I think that would be perfect for Reigns, and that gives Reigns a bit of direction with his character that's been missing as well, and that hopefully transcends his movement into the main event and into WrestleMania's main event.
I do think that would get him a lot more cheers as well, considering fans hate Sheamus.
Now, Reza, we haven't talked about the last person. What about Luke Harper? Luke Harper deserves to be in the main event or thereabouts. He is really good in the ring.
He is really good.
He deserves to be another Kane or another Big Show or that sort of character where he maybe loses every time he's in the main event and never gets the title, but at least he could have some great matches with people like John Cena and Seth Rollins.
Reza, you are recording this, right?
Of course.
Brilliant, because this point I've just made, I'm going to bring it back up later on in the show.
Why? He doesn't need to record. What?
I wouldn't
Set
need to
your DVRs, kids. It's not a real thing.
What I know. Obviously, that's going to be an interesting match. Are there any other matches you want to talk about that are taking place at SummerSlam?
Well, we finally had the John Cena vs Seth Rollins match agreed on.
Yeah.
Finally, that's official.
1 hour time limit, and then Cena wins, and then Sheamus cashes in on... We come up with all the scenarios, so at least one of them will come right.
We'll still be wrong, let's be honest.
Sheamus cashes in on Cena. Cena stays the US champion. Sheamus becomes the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I don't want it to happen, but I think it will happen. Bank on it. Speaking of the bank briefcase, transition. Rosa, Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yes.
I'm going to throw it to you, Rosa.
Okay.
Money in the Bank briefcase.
Money in the Bank briefcase.
Speaking of, what happened on a house show with the Money in the Bank briefcase?
Okay. Money in the Bank briefcase.
That. That's gotta be going to be one of the worst segues I've ever done in the show.
I'm pretty sure everybody has heard what happened now. I've probably seen it at least.
I'm tapping out.
Yeah.
I'm tapping out.
It was in Australia, wasn't it?
Good night, mate.
Thanks. And Roman Reigns getting ready to face Bray Wyatt in a match, and a fan decides to throw his money in the bank briefcase.
He's cashing it in.
He's cashing it.
He's cashing it in.
He decides to throw it at Roman Reigns' head.
Hits him.
He hits him as well. Good aim. Good throw.
Yeah, good, great throw.
Oh.
What was in the briefcase? A contract for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? I don't know.
We'll never know because he's been banned from all future events. Any other match you want to talk about at SummerSlam?
I mean, I guess we could talk about Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett.
Yeah. I did read something online interesting that The Miz was supposed to be Stardust's original partner, which I think is a better choice.
Definitely.
Yes.
Obviously, with his movie star gimmick, he's obviously going to try and be a bigger star than Stephen Amell.
But I can definitely see Miz winning the Intercontinental Championship in the triple threat. I think that title on him right now would be red hot. But Stephen Amell versus Neville versus Stardust and King Barrett. Neville looked a bit out of place in the conversation in Stephen Amell and can we just call him Arrow?
Yes.
Arrow and Triple H's conversation on Raw. And he seemed like he'd missed his cue as well, because Triple H looked at him and then he said, well, what about the one with the play? Well, yeah. That's how he speaks, Neville.
That's exactly how he speaks.
So, thank you. 1 hour north of London, Newcastle.
Oh, JBL.
I just think that Stephen Amell loved it, though. You could tell he was absolutely loving that.
I would say massive WWE fan. What a night would have been for him. I'm guessing it's safe.
Can I just say, he moved incredibly well.
He does his own stunts. He does his own stunts, right?
Yeah, but the way he moved around in that, over the top rope.
Fantastic spear as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the match now.
The fact that he's actually wrestling in that match is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As in, I'm sure all of us thought that he would just be maybe a side character to the match, maybe just a manager for the match, and then afterwards he would get his revenge on Stardust by laying him out. But the fact that he's in that match, in a straight up tag team match, is huge.
He's doing it because he's a genuine fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
This makes me like him more.
I'm guessing.
Have we got confirmation that his lawyers signed everything and sent it back by 9 a.m. CET?
I have no idea.
EST, sorry, Eastern Standard Time.
Maybe.
We got confirmation? Anyone?
I have no confirmation.
You're the host of this show, Rosa, and you do not have confirmation on... My God.
My fact machine is broken.
Find out on SmackDown. You need to watch SmackDown now.
Yes, thank you, Imran. The better host of the show.
Well, that's a real cheap shot. I'm guessing we're going with... I think Stephen Amell's not going to lose this match, surely.
But predictions are next week. Everything could change.
But what do you think of Bad News Barrett just being thrown into this...
King Barrett to you.
King Barrett. I mean, it's bad news for me because I didn't want Barrett in it. King Barrett. What do you make of that? What do you make of him in the match?
Bad news, Barrett.
Yeah, it was a bit random or out of the blue, as they say. But he's a big enough star, so he does deserve the spot, kind of.
I think the only thing I can link this with is Neville's British and so's Barrett. Otherwise, there's nothing there for...
You know what? Who does have something there? Goldust, who is apparently cleared to compete as well this week. So
that would have been really cool.
That would have been better.
That would have made that match 10 times better. But I guess with
the Arrows versus the Dusts, but
the Dust Brothers.
And let us know what you think of these potential stories. What happened at SummerSlam? And let us know your thoughts. Before we get on to one of the bigger topics, there's something we highlighted last week, and
we did.
It was a little battle. Just two small stars you might have heard of, you might not have heard of. The Rock, who I think is just some actor as well now, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Rock was in Welcome to the Jungle in 2003.
I think that was his biggest film to date.
That's Scorpion King.
Oh, how can I forget Scorpion King? That's like Academy Award winning worthy performance.
Definitely nominated.
But obviously,
Tooth Fairy, greatest action movie ever.
Let's keep it simple. No time wasting. Arif, Who is better, The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Overall, as an entire WWE character,
Yes.
The Rock is better than Stone Cold Steve Austin, in my opinion. And that's down to his ability in the ring to polarize the fans, his ability in the ring to perform in a great match, and his amazing ability to just be a star on Hollywood's main stage as well.
I'm going to this to Imran. I hope you got a different answer, otherwise this segment has just ended. Imran.
Stone Cold. Stone Cold, by far the greatest.
Stone Cold! Sorry.
Exactly. It's just saying his name like that. It brings back a lot of memories. Not only memories, but he moved WWE to a totally different direction because he did something nobody else did. He was the anti-hero that worked so perfectly. WWE was plagued by so many colourful characters. They were just... You couldn't believe in them. You couldn't suspend your belief so that you could believe in them. Stone Cold changed all that. He brought in a new era. Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on the trailblazing, eyebrow raising, something, if you smell what The Rock is cooking, people's champion? What's your opinion on that man? Well, I think he's...
I practiced that so much and I forgot the words.
It happens, too much pressure.
It does.
The jabroni beating, pie eating, trailblazing, eyebrow raising, and then I've lost it again.
Well, I mean, everyone's going to keep arguing that. There's not going to be a solid answer who's better. But if we go back to WrestleMania 30 where we had Hulk Hogan in the ring, do you think the WWE are already showing us who is the biggest out of the two, considering Austin got the second entrance and The Rock got the third, the final entrance?
Ooh, I don't even think it was... I don't think it was because they thought he was bigger. I just think there was the passing of the torch kind of sequence. Mm-hmm. They were the three biggest draws ever, and they kind of showed how WWE's changed from the golden age of Hulk Hogan to the Attitude Era starting Stone Cold to the entertaining The Rock.
I guess the Attitude Era ending as well with The Rock as well, when The Rock left. That was really the last sort of resonance of it.
Where do you think, obviously the massive, as I said, no one can say who's actually better, all opinions. Where do you think wrestling would be today if we stuck with, Rocky Maivia and Stunning Steve Austin and we didn't have those characters that they became?
Well, Rocky would have died, Rocky die, and Stunning Steve would still have blonde hair. I guess we would be talking about other stars like the Brooklyn Brawler. He was good, right? He was a main eventer, right?
The Godfather.
There we go. People like that. WWE would have made stars out of other people.
Yeah.
It just so happened that people like The Rock and Stone Cold made stars out of themselves.
Let's not forget, these two superstars came from the greatest generation of wrestlers ever. Guys like Triple H. Yeah, they stood out
in this generation.
Yeah, but there were always going to be guys like Triple H that would have taken the mantle if Stone Cold didn't, if The Rock didn't. There would have always been somebody.
Mm-hmm. Who would you think is better in the ring? Not now, obviously. In their prime, who did you look forward to seeing compete in the ring? Forget everything else, just in the ring.
I was a huge Rock fan as a child. I loved seeing The Rock in the ring, and that's just because of the electricity that he brought with him.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that Stone Cold was amazing in the ring at telling the story, but I think The Rock really took that story, told it before the match, told it after the match, and told it during the match the best out of everyone.
And then he shined it sideways and stuck it straight up. No, there's one more thing. Whose entrance? I know it's just something so small, but we do have these epic returns here and there. Whose music out of the two, which hits the PA system and you just can't believe? That's what you see. It's either the glass shattering or The Rock's voice.
See, from the start, Stone Cold has always had the glass shattering. And whilst he was feuding against Vince McMahon, every time he was going to come out with something new, something that's not been done before. Entrance-wise, shocking-wise, it's always been Stone Cold. It's only when can you smell what the Rock's coming? That's when I
When the Rock's
started to
coming.
enjoy the Rock. Yeah.
Oh no!
That's not what his song is. Woo!
Well, he's coming down the entrance.
About to remind us. Woohoo! Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Imran. I think Stone Cold's glass shattering was always like a bigger event than if you smell. But later on, and especially recently, the Rock's entrance really, especially when it's a surprise, gets people on their feet.
Okay, let's look. Final part on this. WrestleMania 32, going to be the biggest ever, attendance-wise, matches-wise, everything. If it was your choice to book one of these in a match with any opponent of your choosing, who would it be?
Ooh.
Considering you like The Rock and Imran, you like Austin.
Can we put them in our prime? So Imran, you say a match for Stone Cold, and I'll say a match for The Rock.
Okay, we can do both. You can pick their prime and a match today. In the prime, you could argue each other again at the biggest WrestleMania.
Okay, so at the moment,
because everybody wants an Austin match.
Stone Cold.
Who's that?
Stone Cold? Do you want to maybe Stone Cold?
I mean,
yeah.
Everybody wants to see him in a match. So if they get their wish, his final match in Texas, close off his WWE career, sign it off for good. Who would you rather see it against?
Like everybody's gonna say Stone Cold, Sting, Stone Cold, Undertaker, Stone Cold, Brock, even.
Stone Cold.
For me, the one match I really want to see from Stone Cold, that's gonna bring out not just the best Stone Cold has in ring, but best Stone Cold character we could possibly ever have, and that's CM Punk.
Yep.
The possibilities that former wrestler could bring out from Stone Cold is endless, and it's crazy thinking what Stone Cold was capable of, but also what CM Punk is capable of, and what we could see.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be an amazing match. On the flip side, for The Rock, I think there's only one real, true competitor that we should have against The Rock, and that would be Roman Reigns. Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania would be huge, purely because The Rock would get cheered like crazy, and Roman Reigns would get booed like crazy, and Roman Reigns would learn a lesson from his cousin, and The Rock would defeat Roman Reigns in the main event at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I don't think that's ever going to go down, but
you never know.
Neither do I. Well, neither's Austin versus Punk, but maybe in an octagon.
Maybe. This is obviously a battle that can probably never be answered. Let us know who you think is better, The Rock versus Austin.
Why don't you answer it?
Why? Oh man, why do you put me under pressure?
You gotta go on. Rock, Austin, and a third competitor, triple threat. Who are they facing?
Oh god, I can just ruin it, but I don't know.
Don't say Cena. You're not allowed to say Cena.
No. Cena doesn't win this time.
Lol, Cena wins.
I'll just wait for that.
Wins always.
I think there's a few you'd like to see. I mean, who's had history with them both? I mean, Triple H has had it. I'm basing this off what you'd like to see at WrestleMania 32, like the biggest ever.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're using the prime, then obviously Vince McMahon's had run-ins with both. Even Mankind, I would have liked to see. But I'd say based on who can still move, I'd say Triple H. I would like to see.
Rock, Austin, H.
I wouldn't say
Bucket.
I wouldn't say Hogan. Most people would say that, but not anymore.
Well, The Rock's half black, isn't he? So Hogan would wrestling. Sorry, Samoan. Sorry, Samoan.
Let us know who you think is best. Obviously, we kept it really, really brief. People could talk about this for hours and hours. Let us know who you think is better and why. The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was just a little break, even though we talked, it was a break. Moving on to one of our other topics, the Cesaro Section. Over the last few weeks, we have started to see Cesaro Section signs on WWE television. They're out in full force. I believe it started on Reddit. A fan handing them out in front of the arenas. Shows the power of the internet, doesn't it? Do you think this, before going off down the path surrounding it, do you think this shows Cesaro is connecting with the WWE Universe?
He connects every single time he gets in between these 4 ropes.
I knew that was coming.
There's 4 sides. Yeah, he's connecting. Of course he is, but only with a small number of fans, and that was evident when Triple H came out and he announced the triple threat, and he said Cesaro, and only a small percentage of the fans cheered, and that was really sad to see. When it just shows you could hand out signs to anyone and they'll hold it up. People are like sheep.
That's
they'll
what
hold anything. If you
that's what I
give
wanted
it.
to ask. Do you think the fans are taking part to just be a part of it because everyone's doing it? I'm going to do it. To feel relevant, even, or do you think they're actually trying to make a difference, starting to believe in Cesaro?
You could hand out Byron Saxton signs and people would hold them.
Remember?
Yeah, exactly. I agree completely with Arif. They're just signs at the end of the day. Fans without signs gonna want to hold up a sign, want to feel part of a movement, but other than that, they're not really with the movement, are they?
I mean, that you
evident by the cheers.
You could bring that up. Will this become a movement like the Yes movement, or?
I hope it does, because Kevin Owens, a real wrestling wrestler.
Great analysis.
Yeah, he mentioned it on Raw as well when he was coming out. He was like, the sad guy who prints out the Cesaro Section signs. But I think the real wrestling fans and the real wrestlers do want credit where credit's due, and Cesaro is deserving so much of a push, really, that only the fans can give him.
Yeah, I guess there's not really much else to say on that, because he does deserve to be in the main event, or he does deserve to be somewhere near the main event, which he is being pushed as at the moment. But it's not because of the fans, and it's not because they're holding up these little pieces of square paper saying Cesaro Section.
So will this catch on then, or will they just fall and die?
Even if it does, it doesn't make a difference, Rosa. It doesn't make a difference.
Okay.
Like it may catch on because it takes one person 20 minutes to print off 2,000 sheets of paper.
Okay, so what do you think Cesaro needs to do?
That's a fast printer, actually.
What do you think? He probably has about 4 in an internet cafe.
Yeah.
What do you think Cesaro?
10p a sheet, though.
Oh, that's dedication for a fan.
$200. 10p is $200. It's not how. No, sorry. 10 cents. 10 cents a sheet. There we go.
What do you think Cesaro needs to do with his little popularity boost to take it to that next level? We know there's something missing, which isn't allowing him to be a WWE Live Championship contender, and I think it's clear it is the charisma side of it. He looks good, he performs good in the ring. The microphone, the charisma side is a bit iffy. What do you think he needs to do with the popularity that he is getting from the fans to take it to that level?
Well, he's getting there.
Yeah.
You say he's getting there?
I was going to say he is getting there, and when he was paired up with Paul Heyman and became an Heyman guy, he was getting there very slowly, but surely. You could see Paul Heyman's creative juices flowing, and
again with the PG. Come on,
but
gotta keep it clean for the kids.
Yeah, it was coming, surely.
I don't know what to say.
That was on purpose.
Really not. I'm really not.
I do not believe you.
Can I just interject at this point? I just think that Cesaro really needs to start connecting in between these 4 ropes.
Oh God, I thought I was going to take you seriously then as well.
I know.
One thing people say was the biggest mistake in Cesaro's WWE career was aligning himself with Paul Heyman. Obviously, the fact everyone was buzzing after WrestleMania, he's got the manager the advocate who was the one behind the one in 21-1 at the time. What do you think was the biggest mistake in Cesaro's WWE career?
Yeah, I think it was that. As much as it's normally a blessing, especially to learn off someone like Paul freaking Heyman, I don't think that was his mold. He doesn't look like a superstar who has such of a mean streak to be paired with Paul Heyman. I mean, if he was paired with a manager such as, there you go, Lana would have been better for him, I think.
Don't forget, some of Cesaro's best work, especially recently, has been in his tag team with Tyson Kidd. That was amazing up until, unfortunately, Tyson Kidd got injured, and he would still be in that position if it wasn't for Tyson Kidd getting injured. So we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now. We'd be saying that Cesaro was one of the best things in the tag team division, and that in the future we'd like to see him in the main event, and we wouldn't be missing him in the main event. Now that he's by himself, yes, we do agree that he deserves to be there. How he gets there, I don't know. Maybe he just needs to get better in between these four roles.
But here's the thing. Don't you think the role that he's playing now, like a Dean Ambrose, where he's a bit part player, where he gets rivalries such as facing John Cena, facing Kevin Owens, and then showing what he's capable of, don't you think he fits that very well?
Yeah, I agree. He does. He definitely does. But he's still not going to be the main event guy for them.
He's not. He's not.
But how does he get there? How does Cesaro get to be the main event?
Will he get to the main event?
These are questions
main
you
event
can answer
podcast.
too, Reza. Go ahead.
He could be on the main event podcast as much as he wants.
Ooh. Cesaro next week, people. We're going to make it happen.
What? I didn't want to...
Reza promises.
No, don't put this on
Reza
me.
promises that we're going to get Cesaro.
Well, we nearly had Patrick, actually.
Oh,
Of course. One day we'll get him.
My name is Patrick Clark.
You really shouldn't say that in case he listens and then decides
Please
whether to
listen
come.
to my podcast.
Oh, God.
He's
One
here
thing,
already.
just the final bit on Cesaro. Let's just say he's got 3 scenarios and he can rewind to one of them. Which one do you think he should or he would choose? He can either rewind to being in the prime with the best team ever with Tyson Kidd. He can rewind his time back to being the Paul Heyman guy and go about things differently. Or he can rewind to go back with the Real Americans.
Why do we have to rewind? Why can't he just stay where he is right now?
I was going to say the exact same thing.
If he had to. Obviously, he's not going to, but if he had to, if he could, and he wanted to, what?
It's like, if wishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean.
You're not... Oh, just answer the question.
It's true. It is true,
Just
though. If
answer
fishes were fishes, the world would be an ocean. And I think that rings clear for someone like Cesaro, because we can't turn back time. But right now, he is in a really good position. Let's not take that away from him.
Look, I mean, these are obviously the 4 standout times in Cesaro's career. Obviously, Real Americans... I won't count United States title run. That was a bit, not great. The Real Americans, Paul Heyman Guy, Tyson Kidd, and now.
Paul Heyman Guy. If he does it differently, I think the Paul Heyman Guy gimmick could have worked.
Okay, Imran?
See, I loved the Real Americans. I thought they were brilliant with Zeb Coulter. But there's no comparing to Paul Heyman. He's genius. No matter who he's paired with. Yeah.
It's a real blessing to be paired with Paul Heyman. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what part of the card you're on. If you're Cesaro, if you're Ryback, if you're Brock Lesnar, if you're CM Punk, it doesn't make a difference. If you're paired with Paul Heyman, even Michael McGillicuddy got a bit of a push with him.
Yeah, but with him, it didn't make a difference.
Yeah.
He got the title under his...
But he got the title, exactly.
Fair enough.
That it makes even a small change in character, because you're paired with Paul Heyman, makes a massive difference in my opinion. And I think,
to be fair, since Michael McGillicuddy, Curtis Axel was paired with Paul Heyman, we have seen a lot more character in Curtis Axel.
Well, not anymore, because Hogan got the chop. So
yep. So Curtis Axelmania is no more.
No longer running wild.
Talking of... Obviously, please, everyone who's listening, please let us know what you think. Talking of Paul Heyman, I think it's time for our main event, the final topic of this week. And this week's main event, we do have the advocate for the beast, the one behind the one in 20... Well, what's now 22-1, Paul Heyman.
You didn't do it in the voice. Do it in the voice.
I can't do the voice.
You can do it in the voice. Come on,
I
Reza, you can do it in the voice.
I can do the voice. I promise you. Arif will do it.
Go, Reza, go.
Go in, Arif.
Go.
I'm waiting, Arif.
Yep, you got this. Go, Reza, go. I'll set the scene for you. Go.
Oh, thanks for that. You set the scene perfectly.
Okay, fine. Okay, never mind.
Arif, you're supposed to be my voice guy. Come on.
Okay.
I mean, are you doing it? Or shall I move on?
I was just saying, okay.
For so long, we have talked about a Paul Heyman guy. We talked about it with Cesaro, with Ryback, with Curtis Axel, and we're always discussing who should be a new Paul Heyman guy. This person, this diva, this tag team. I just want to jump back onto this bandwagon. Who should be the new Paul Heyman guy? I'm sure you guys have got names in your heads already. Am I right?
I do indeed.
What I want to do is I just want to read out a few names. I just want to read out a few of their traits, what they bring to the ring. I just want you to tell me whether they have what it takes to be a Paul Heyman guy, whether Paul Heyman should take them under his wing. Can we do that? Are we on the same page?
We are on the same page. Is that one of them?
Thank you, Arif. That's not one of them. Because I remember reading that Heyman said his next project is down on NXT, so I think it's only fair and it's safe to stick with NXT superstars.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's just a handful of people who other people might think someone else deserves to be a Paul Heyman guy, but one of the guys I thought could potentially benefit from this is Baron Corbin. I'm sure everyone's very familiar with him. He's not Imran's favorite because Mojo Rawley's Harry's favorite.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently so.
Baron Corbin, a lone wolf. He's got potential. He's got a great look. I'd say he's marketable. Limited moveset. Can't talk. I'm not even gonna lie. Just
And he has a funny belly button as well.
Yeah. Is that the deal breaker right there?
That's that. Hey, if he wore like a MVP sort of singlet, then maybe it would work, but not in that belly button.
Based on all of these things, Baron Corbin, potential Paul Heyman guy in the future. Should he? Could he?
Absolutely. Like you said, he's very marketable. He's got that presence to him, actually. That mean streak to him that Paul Heyman's so good at harnessing. And yeah, he can't talk at all, which is where Paul Heyman comes in. So yeah, he's one for the future as well. Perfect Paul Heyman guy.
Arif, apart from the belly button?
Apart from the belly button, I think he's a really, really good character to pair with Paul Heyman. The only problem I may have with it is if they go down the route of like the Undertaker and Paul Bearer sort of style, so they make Baron Corbin into more of a evil is the word I'm going to have to use for a lack of a better, maybe dark character. If they turn Baron Corbin into more of a dark character and then team up with Paul Heyman, then it kind of loses its effect. Baron Corbin needs to come in as a monster.
So
here's the thing: he's there as a monster bike rider. He has that darkness to him already.
No, but what I'm saying is I don't want him to get any darker. And I feel like once he gets to the main roster, I think that's where they're going to eventually push him. Because him as a biker coming down the ring is basically Chuck Palumbo.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Hideo Itami. Popular star. The only thing is, I don't expect him to be a heel. Obviously, things can change. Another unique look. Obviously, marketable in the Far East, especially. One of the finest wrestlers, there's no denying that. Limited English, which probably means he's the perfect Paul Heyman guy. Can't talk, doesn't need to talk.
Here's the problem with him. He's a cruiserweight. And I don't think a cruiserweight fits well with Paul Heyman. Beasts, more dominant superstars, fit better with Paul Heyman.
CM Punk wasn't the Beast.
Yeah, but he had that stardom to him. He was the best, exactly.
Hideo Itami is far from the best. He's really good in the ring, don't get it wrong. He's as good as Daniel Bryan in the ring. He's as good as CM Punk in the ring. But as Imran said, he's not the marketable star, especially in the Western world. Like you said, the Eastern world, yes, possibly he could be the biggest thing since sliced bread. But as a Paul Heyman guy, not really my sort of cup of tea.
Fair point.
He is from China, but he's from Japan.
A final name, which has been teased online. I'm sure everyone's probably seeing this now on a certain Instagram account. Fan made, so don't get your hopes up. Finn Balor. Two personas. Over with the fans. Definitely has a unique look. Definitely. Definitely marketable. Great competitor. He can talk. Can we see the devil that is Paul Heyman bringing in the demon?
I have a problem with Finn Balor. Can I just get it out now, really quickly?
Yes.
Is it a belly button?
Imran, it's not. It's not his belly button. If anything, his belly button's very nice. Imran, please change my mind on this because I know you're a huge advocate of NXT, and because of you, I started watching NXT, and I really started to enjoy it. But I can't see him as the face of the company. Why can't I see him as the face of the company?
Gage is not on his side.
And by face of the company, I just mean a main eventer in the sense of I can't even see him with Paul Heyman.
Like, here's the thing: he's very
Old.
young. Oh, young.
He's 34, isn't he?
34.
Yeah, he is. He's very
Saved Becky
young
Lynch from
looking.
Housefire or something. I don't know. She's in love with him.
Yeah, he. I don't know. I think he's got a long future ahead of him. He's got time to develop into the main event that we know he can be.
I don't know. This is my point.
He's trying to get you to tell him otherwise, man.
Like,
Don't just...
he has that potential. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be more than a Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, saying Randy Orton's is quite good because of how many championship Orton's won. But
he's not the face of the company.
He's not the face, exactly. So he's always going to be close to being the face, being the one with the title, being a Seth Rollins with the title, but never quite
the Sami Zayn, basically, who we predict will be the next face of the company.
Yeah. Like, I have a problem with Sami Zayn. I have the Finn Balor problem with the Sami Zayn.
Oh,
I don't think he's ever going to mount to be the John Cena.
We won't get down. We won't get down that route yet.
That's next week's.
Yeah, I was just promising on my behalf everything next week.
Well, we have to remember this one: Sami Zayn or Finn Balor, main eventer.
Yep.
Of course.
The cruiserweight problem.
One thing I did
It is cruiserweight problem.
want to add: maybe Balor is not, but maybe RF's not thinking about Balor's going to be the top guys because of the lack of opponents on NXT. I remember when Bo Dallas was champion, when Neville was champion, they had guys after the titles every single week. You had your Tyler Breeze, you had Tyson Kidd down from the main roster, you had Sami Zayn. Maybe that's why Finn Balor's not been taken as seriously because his opponent is focused on more on the main roster.
I just think with NXT at the moment, we are in a transition period where everyone that was big in there, everyone that we really enjoyed has started making that jump to the main roster. So look at the Divas; they're a perfect example of it. And people like Charlotte, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks are now on the main roster, and they're not in NXT anymore. Same thing with Finn Balor's possible opponents. So Kevin Owens is on the main roster now, and obviously he's having his match with Finn Balor at NXT Revolution Takeover 72. Sami Zayn's out injured. Adrian Neville is on the main roster and not doing as well as we thought he would, but it's early days. But yeah, like you said, Finn Balor doesn't have the competition that he had.
Yeah,
I mean, who is?
You bring up a very interesting point because we have seen this transition period before, actually, with the likes of Bray Wyatt, with the likes of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins going up. You know, Bo Dallas as well, the champion at that time, going up. There was a hole left. There's always going to be a hole left with, you know, big superstars leaving. All that it presents is a chance for superstars to fill those holes, to grow into those holes, and I think Finn Balor will do that.
5 times. PG show.
PG, man. Come on.
Filling holes.
Yeah, many holes.
Can't win.
Yeah, they will do that quickly.
Do you think, Arif, if you saw all of those guys who we mentioned, you know, the Nevilles, the Wyatts, everybody on NXT today, and Balor was a champion, do you think that would change your mind because he's got those opponents and he's succeeding against them?
Not only would that change my mind, I think that would cement him as a main eventer and that would cement him as a possible Paul Heyman guy, going back to full circle.
Yeah.
I think, going back to the original question, I think that would make Finn Balor more of a Paul Heyman guy than he is right now. One person we didn't talk about was Samoa Joe. Why is Samoa Joe not being touted as the next Paul Heyman guy? That would be huge.
That would be huge.
Interesting.
Why not have him as the Paul Heyman guy and then Sasha Banks as the Paul Heyman girl, or Charlotte as the Paul Heyman girl?
Yeah,
makes sense.
Perfect. Actually, one name, if we're not talking about NXT, on the main roster that I do think makes a good Paul Heyman guy is Luke Harper.
There you go.
Going back to what Arif said before, he's very dominant. You know, he has great matches, very athletic. We need a new Kane or Big Show. He will do great.
Rosa, you picked the worst ones.
I picked a handful because I wanted to get the most out of you guys, and I feel I succeeded.
What are you going to say next? Solomon Crow?
I'm proud that I'm allowing you guys to flourish.
Gable.
Enzo Amore.
I'm
Oh,
just
no,
reading
I do
these. I'm
think
on the NXT roster homepage. Alex Riley, Rhino, Emma,
we're just not going to get anywhere.
Ryan
Just-
Katz, the associate producer.
Just a final, really, a final question before we do finish. Of all the names we've mentioned, your Harpers and everyone, if Paul Heyman was to recruit somebody, would you pick Finn Balor or would you pick someone else?
At this moment in time, someone else, but I don't doubt that in time Finn Balor possibly could do it.
Yeah, I think Finn Balor needs to concentrate on NXT, solely on NXT.
Yeah, it's too early, I think.
And cementing his era as the NXT champion.
Well, you said too early. There were reports that his contract on NXT meant he didn't have to stay there long, but we will get into that when we discuss NXT
What?
at a later date. That's it for today.
You're gonna leave me on that note?
This is like the perfect cliffhanger. I'm afraid that is all we have time for on the Main Event Podcast this week. Thank you all for listening.
Cruel man, Reza.
I don't want to go.
Thank you guys for all your input and your thoughts. Let us know what you guys thought of the episode this week in the comment section below. Wherever you're listening, I'm sure there's a comment section. Any tips, suggestions, anything like that is truly appreciated. Please like, subscribe, download, recommend us as well. Any final words, guys? Apart from abusing me. Just silence.
The longer road traveled is usually the one that's longer than the others.
That's what she said.
Wise words. Wise words. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week on the Main Event Podcast.